Hey, good morning. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Monday Merriment. Today is August 26, 2024. Well, the moon is starting to wane. We're at the third quarter right now. It's the waning moon, and the moon is in Gemini. It's a good time to work on anything that's relating to your business or your family growth. Now, because this is the waning period, it's a good time to work on banishing obstacles relating to business and family growth. As I was explaining in the previous slide, that we're in the waning phase of the moon. And this is the time where we banish or get rid of things that we don't want, right? Okay, so let me kind of explain how that works. If for more information on timing of spells and manifesting, check out the divine timetables. If you haven't seen it already, I have put the link in the description box. Now, what happens is it starts off with the new moon, and how an example of August calendar here. On the 4th, it was a new moon, and this is when you cannot see the moon. It is completely blacked out from the sky. You can't see it, right? This is a time where it's very quiet, and it's a good time to do like meditation and start focusing on your new goals that you want in your life, okay? After the new moon, okay, so we're looking at the 4th is when the new moon occurred. And then on the 5th, on the 6th, that's when you start noticing like the sliver in the moon. You know, the sky, you'll see the little small sliver of the crescent moon. And then it starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So if you look on the 12th, on Monday, you'll notice that you'll see a little crescent moon, right? And remember last week, the crescent moon was the synchronicity symbol. Did you guys see it? I did. I got a little picture to prove it. It's kind of funny. Okay, and so that's when the time is to draw things to you. You continually work towards your goals. You know, like if you want to perhaps buy a car, you might want to do some sort of manifestation work to attract that car. Okay, and as we go further and further and further down the week, and then to the next week, last week we talked about the sturgeon moon, right? And it was a full moon, okay? And moons have different names, and we'll discuss those in future videos. But last week it was the sturgeon moon, and the moon was full. The day after the moon is full is when it starts to wane and get smaller, and you'll notice this in the sky, right? Today we are at the third quarter moon, okay? It is, you'll notice that on the 12th of the month and the 26th of the month, they look the same, but the moon is opposite in direction, right? We're looking at the waxing, and now we are in the waning moon, okay? So the first quarter moon is when it's waxing, and the third quarter moon is when it's waning, and that's where we are today. And so you'll notice that you'll see these little moon symbols on calendars, but a lot of people have no idea what they mean, right? We just know that it's been printed on calendars for a very long time, and some people just don't know. As silly as it sounds, a lot of people don't know, especially, I would say, children, or I'll say younger people in the generation of like where my son is and younger. Some of these kids have never even paid attention to what the moon looks like. Okay, think about living a life to where you're so plugged into your phone that you've never noticed something like that around you. Kind of a trip, right? Okay, let's go on to the next slide. Okay, I thought it would be a good idea to suggest an easy banishing spell for anyone who wants to get rid of any obstacles or work on, improving their life, clearing the path, to make things easier. Basically, getting rid of things, working on, your habits, things that you feel are in the way, okay? So this easy banishing spell is exactly what it is. It's easy, okay? So here are the things you're going to need. You're going to need, number 1, a white novena candle. Number 2, either holy or Florida water. This is used for cleansing the candle, okay? Number 3, you'll need a cleaning cloth or a cleaning tissue to use while you're cleaning the candle. Also, you'll need a toothpick or a bowline knife. This is used to inscribe on the candle. You can either write your name, write a sentence on the candle. You can also, draw symbols on your candle. Number 5, the banishing oil or olive oil is optional. And then also the cleansing or purifying herb is also optional. Now, number 5 and number 6 are optional. It's the candle is enough. Okay, once you cleanse the candle with the holy or Florida water, and then you inscribe on it, and you direct our energy into it, that's really enough, okay? But really, when you're adding the oils and you're adding the herbs, this is additional power. These herbs and these the oil have the qualities of purifying. Okay, so you're just adding more energy into it. Okay, and the suggested herbs that I came up with were anise, basil, bay leaves, clove, and parsley. Now there are more herbs that you can use, and I did a video called Food Magic, and in the description box of that video is a magical food list, and this is something that I created. I am attaching a link to the magical food list in the description box. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about using 7-day novena candles for this banishing spell. Okay, they're easily purchased at retail stores, and they're often found in the international food sections and grocery stores. Now, I know I've seen these kind of candles at Walmart. Now, Walmart can be a grocery store and it's a retail store. So when I go and see them at Walmart, they are usually in the department where like the house, decor is, which is like with all the other candles, incense, candle holders, and stuff like that. That's where you're going to find it. If you go to like a grocery store like Albertsons or something, they're generally in the international or close to the international food sections. Typically, like the Hispanic type foods, Latin foods. I want to make sure I'm using the right terms. Please forgive me. Okay, so sometimes you'll see these candles with pictures on them in the store. Those are specifically used for saints, okay? And I will do a video on saints, the uses of them, and how to pray to them if this is what you choose to do. I did do a video called Saint Expedite. It was a video talking about how to petition Saint Expedite for immediate prayers. I will be doing more videos on saints in the future, okay? But those were for. And generally, those candles with the pictures of saints on them have a prayer already on the back of the candle. That doesn't mean you have to use that prayer, but they do have them, okay? I typically stick with the 7-day plain novena candles, unless, of course, I specifically need to petition that saint. And these particular candles with the saints pictures on them are all used for different reasons. Okay, like we have Saint Jude. Saint Jude is like the patron of impossible matters. Okay, so people would petition him for things, for like healing and stuff like that. Okay, all right. So, I would say that these candles, yes, they are used in a matter that requires deep focus, okay? And also novena candles do come in a variety of colors for different purposes. Now, white is a candle that can always be used for a substitute for another color. Let's just say, for example, it was the waxing of the moon and you wanted to focus on success, okay? But you didn't have an orange candle. You can use white as a substitute. In this case, this spell is using white because the goal is to purify, to banish, to get rid of something, to eliminate something, to purify, protect, and give us peace, right? So this is the reason why we're using white in this spell. Okay, I know this is a very strange angle to do this demonstration, but I just recently got this monitor and I need to do some adjusting. And I've been putting it off for a while, and please excuse me, but it's kind of frustrating because obviously you can't really see me in this video, but that's okay. What's important is that you see what I'm doing with this candle because this is part of the demonstration. Yes, these are my little stuffed animals. I'm sorry that they're in this video. I hope that doesn't bother anyone. Yes, I like stuffed animals. Yes, I'm 53 years old, but they're cute. Okay, so let's just ignore them and focus on the candle. Okay, so when I purchase a novena candle, the first thing I do when I bring it home is I cover it. Okay, but the first thing I do is I actually remove the dust and debris, if there is any, okay, with just a clean cloth, or maybe I might moisten it with like some water just from the tap or whatever, and clean the top of it, okay? And then what I do is I either tear off a piece of paper towel, or I'll use some plastic wrap, and cover the candle, and then I store it. Okay, and I make a habit of purchasing novena candles if I find them at a good price, even though I may not be using it as a spell for right away. I just store them because, I'm one of those women who enjoy, her little earthy type stuff, and I always want to have stuff like this on hand. So what I do is I just go ahead and store it away, and when I need it. So for this example, I'm going to show you how to cleanse the candle, how to inscribe on it, how to dress it, and then we'll talk about the signs of how the candle burns in the next video, in the next slide. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove the top. And what I usually do is I dab a little bit of, where's my Florida water? Here we go. So Florida water or holy water. You can use Florida or holy water. And dab a little bit on the towel or the cloth or the Kleenex, whatever you're using. And I go ahead and just go around in a circle in the glass and then around the candle like this. Okay, and then I also do the bottom of it. And I always try to make sure I have a place to set it if I'm not setting it directly on my altar. I'm not by my altar right now, so I just want to make sure that it doesn't even get any of the energy on my desk that's not clean. So I put down another little white piece of cloth. Okay, I'm just really clean. I just want to make sure that I clean all energies off of what I'm working with. Okay, because this candle, believe it or not, has a link to you. When you purchase the candle, when you select the candle, and when you're cleaning the candle, this candle is becoming a link to you. And it also has signs of how things are working by how it burns. Okay, so this is a reason why I do the cleansing. Okay, because I want to make sure that I'm picking up on my energy and no one else's. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move this off the way. Okay, the next thing I do is I inscribe on the candle. Okay, now you don't have to inscribe on a candle, but I do. And the reason why is, like, for example, I might write an issue on the candle. Okay, like maybe if in this case, this is the waning moon. Let's just say, for example, I had a problem with I don't know, a relative. Okay, and I might write this person's, the issue and the relative's name on the candle. Okay, and you can write on the candle using a toothpick, which is what I usually use, or a bowline knife. And I will tell you that a toothpick is far more easy to use than a candle. I mean, I'm sorry, a knife. Okay, especially when you're working with the novena candle. Novena candles are used when you are dealing with an issue that seems like it's very intense. Okay, because there are different kinds of candles. Okay, there's a kind like taper candles or tea light candles, but novena candles are used when you have a very deep problem, or it's something that just you feel like you need constant focus and working on it. Okay, so I cleanse the toothpick also with Florida water. Now there's still a little bit of Florida water on this right here, so I'm just going to go ahead and use it just to cleanse the toothpick, because everything on this candle, you want this candle to be, treat it like it's sacred. Okay, because it's your link, it's your energy that you're working with. Okay, so I'm cleaning the toothpick, and so I'm going to write, I don't know, what am I going to write? This is a demonstration, so let me just think of something. Okay, so I wrote on this candle. Okay, and you can't see it, right? But you know that that writing is there. That's all that matters. Okay, so, and you can write, draw symbols. You can write on the candle, however you want to do it. Okay, now after that, now this is optional. Okay, this is optional. you can use an oil to dress your candle. Now, there are special companies that design oils. Like, I'm a big fan of Sun's oil. I mean, I love Sun's oil. I love the oils that they produce. I would say they're one of the best. Okay, sundial is the best. Okay, but I don't have any of theirs on hand for this specific purpose of what I'm focusing on. So this is like what we're trying to do is we're trying to work on banishing stuff, and I don't have any banishing oil, which there is an oil that's called that. Okay, in this case, I'm using olive oil. Okay, and olive oil is good for peace. It's good for repelling negativity and protecting yourself against negativity. Okay, so I would say that's appropriate. So just dab a little bit on my index finger, and then I'm just going to go ahead and go clockwise around what I just wrote on it. Like I'm cleansing the issue, like I'm fixing it, I'm changing it. You know what I mean? I'm purifying it. That's what I'm doing. The intent of it is, okay. Now, I could leave it at this. I don't have to do any more because, I mean, I have a white candle, and anything I add to it is basically me just adding more energy to it, giving it more power, okay? So it could have been fine just using it as a white candle, but I'm deciding to use some olive oil, okay? I'm cleansing it, and it's adding more power. Now, I'm giving a few different options on what you can use when it comes to herbs, if you choose to use an herb. You don't have to, but I'm adding more power. And I'm using herbs, or focusing on herbs, that represent purification or protection, okay? So when it comes to herbs, it is really cool if you have like a backyard and you can grow your own herbs, okay? That is really cool, especially if you could like plant it, and as you're planting it, you're focusing on dropping that seed, covering it up in dirt. You're nurturing that plant. You know, you're really bonding with the natural forces. Okay, but not everybody has the ability to grow their own herbs and stuff like that. Okay, so sometimes you have to use store-bought stuff. Okay, and sometimes they have fresh herbs at the in the grocery aisle. I mean, the what do you call it, the produce section at the grocery store. Okay, those work well too. Okay, but in a pinch, you can also use regular dried herbs that you get in the regular grocery store that are probably in your kitchen cabinet right now. Okay, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and use some basil. Okay, and I choose to enchant the basil a little bit. Now, this can be done in your mind, or you can speak it out loud if you want to do that. Okay, but in this case, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and do this for a demonstration. Now, I talked about the receiving hand and the power hand in my videos. The receiving hand is your hand that you don't really have a lot of power in. It means like, you know, I write with my right hand, right? So this is where I have my coordination. So this is going to be my power hand, right? And this is my receiving hand. Now you can enchant the herbs. You can put this in a bowl. You know what? Let me go ahead and get a bowl really quick. I know I got one. I do. Okay. In this case, right? Here's my little bowl, right? So I'm just doing this to give you an idea. Now I'm going to just throw a little bit of herbs in here, right? Just a few, a little bit. You can see that, right? And, you know, it's basil. Basil has those vibrations. You know, basil has the vibration of to be used for exorcisms, right? If you can like use basil in an exorcism, that tells you that this basil is a very strong, powerful herb, okay? Because it's like a demon slayer. So, and also it's good for protection, purification, so on and so forth. So here it is in the bowl. Now this is my index finger. Now remember I talked about getting some energy from the sun. You know, just go ahead and stand out sometimes in the sun. You know, get yourself some energy. Close your eyes. Let the rays of the sun like get you for as long as you can stand standing in the sun. Now you've already charged up your energy. Okay, so you've been holding on to that energy for a long, long time. I did talk about wearing a talisman to protect that energy that you do absorb. Okay, but and every once in a while you're going to need to recharge. Okay, but that's the energy that you've been storing up. So this is how we're going to charge it, right? This herb, these herbs right here that are in this bowl, the basil. Okay, I'm taking my power hand and I'm moving it around and focusing on what it represents. Thanking the basil for being, you know, powerful and giving me all the energy and, you know, that I need in this particular spell. I'm acknowledging it for all the what it's worth, right? And so now after that's done, okay, I'm going to sprinkle it into the candle. And I'm sprinkling it around the writing that I did. I'm sprinkling it around, you know, it's like you're covering it with more energy. Like you're slaying these demons that you're writing on this candle with your basil or whatever herb that you're using. Okay, there's different purification herbs that you can use. Okay. And I don't know if you saw the food magic video, but if you did see the food magic video, you should be able to find herbs to substitute whatever it is that you're using. Okay. Now, in this case, you know, if I was going to use this candle jar, I'm going to go ahead and cover this back up because I'm not using it for anything, but I'm using it for this demonstration, okay? But at this point, you would put it on your altar, or you would most likely, when you're doing this, you would be preparing it at your altar, okay? This is all for demonstration. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide. Now, once you're finished preparing the candle, you can place it on your altar or another designated spot, okay? Light the candle. Prayer for this particular candle spell is optional. That means that you can pray to God or a patron saint if you want to. In this particular spell, we are invoking, okay? So when you're energizing, got your energy from the sunlight, and you receive that and you put it inside of your body, when you're transferring it, like, you know, charging the candle, charging the herbs, you know, as you're preparing the candle, that is sufficient, okay? And once you light the candle, you're going to let the candle burn out completely. This is going to take a few days, okay? Generally, novena candle spells burn for about up to 5 days, even though they say 7 days. Now, there's been times where I've used novena candles, and I would say, in all the times that I've used it, it's only burned out once during the 7th day, this very last day. Generally, it burns out within 5 days. Okay, some people say, oh, it burns out in 3 days. I'm going to go a little bit more into the candle and how it burns and how it can actually give you signs as to your progress on your spell. Okay. Okay, so once that candle's burning, of course you can let it burn out on its own. That's going to take a few days. So if you have to leave the house or you're going to go to bed or whatever, you want to make sure that you're practicing fire safety. So I generally put the burning candle in the bathtub, okay, and just let it stay in there. That way, if something happens to the candle, you know, you're not going to have any damage. It's going to be in a nice, I guess, big fire receptacle retainer, which is a bathtub. So you should be okay. Now, if you saw the video, Divination Before Spell Work, I discussed 2 forms of divination. I do allegomancy, and I also do cartomancy, okay? When it comes to candles, there is a form of divination that pertains to the candle flame, and that's called pyromancy, okay? Now, I'm going to use wordnik again, because I always give my lessons on vocabulary and what things mean so that people understand. So it has 3 definitions. Number 1 is divination by fire or flames. Number 2 is divination by means of fire. And the third one is divination by fire, the use of fire to supernaturally gain information. For the few days that the candle is going to be burning, watch the candle for signs, okay? Going back to the pyromancy, there's certain things that you could look at when it comes to your candle flame that's telling you if you're on the right track, okay? It's a form of divination. If the candle flame is flickering high, that means that magical energy is generally positive. That's surrounding your spell work. Number 2, if the candle's flame is small, like sometimes you light a candle and the candle is just like this tiny little flame, okay, that's usually an indication that obstacles are in the way, okay. Number 3, if you have a tall flame, that's a good sign, okay. That means that everything is working on track, everything is going fine, it's a positive path. Okay, number 4, if you have a cracking or hissing flame, this indicates that spiritual energy is around your goal, okay? So perform divination of your choice to find out what's going on. It could be positive and it could be negative. It's just basically letting you know, hey, you need to look into this a little bit further. Number 5, a blue colored flame is a positive sign. Number 6, a double flame on your candle. That indicates that another energy source is impeding on your spell. Perform divination to find out what's going on. Number 7, a twisted or curled wick. Okay, that does happen too. Sometimes it just curls up like a little spiral. That is a positive sign. Okay, difficulty lighting the candle. When it comes to weird interferences that come into place when you are doing any kind of spell working, like interruptions, dropping things, and in this case, when you're trying to light a candle and it's not letting you, these are indications that these are signs, okay? And sometimes it's like basically the energies are saying, okay, look, you have enough. You don't need to do this. Everything is in the works. It's already on its way. And there's like, you know, a spiritual principle about asking for too much. Okay, if you already have a blessing, you know, you don't want to be greedy. Okay, maybe whatever it is that you're asking for is already on the way, so there's no need to do a spell. Or in this case, if you're having a hard time lighting a candle, it could mean that, like I said, it could mean that you are already getting what you asked for. There's no more need to ask for it. Or it could also indicate that there are strong forces blocking you. Okay, so once again, you know, performing divination is a good idea. Okay, number 9, a fast burning candle. That's an indication that your goal will likely be achieved, but it may not have staying power. Okay, so sometimes like you might light a candle and ask for something, like for example, a job. That's a good example. Okay, so you're looking for a job. Okay, and you burn a candle and like it only burns for like 3 days. Okay, which is really quick. Okay, it burned from the top all the way down to the very bottom, and the next thing you know, you get a call for your job. Okay, but a lot of times that's an indication that it's not going to last for very long, okay? Because a decision might be made in the background, behind the scenes, that might be based on something impulsive. Like, you know, they decided to hire you, but they're hiring you for wrong reasons or whatever, okay? So this is an indication, like if you get a candle and you burn it, and it's like, you know, 2 days in, 3 days in, and the candle's already burnt out, you know, chances are you're probably going to get what you're asking for, but like I said, it's not going to have any staying power. The idea when you're burning a candle is to have a nice, slow, steady pace of a candle burning, okay? And generally, like I said, 5 to 7 days is usually the standard of time or a good amount of time for the candle to burn, okay? The smoke from the flame, as well as the soot that sometimes accumulates around the candle, can also indicate some issues that are going on with your spell work. Okay, this is actually called capnomancy, and it's a form of pyromancy. I'm going to go ahead and use Wordnik's definitions. Okay, number 1, divination by means of the accent or motion of smoke. Number 2, divination by interpreting smoke rising from a fire. Now, when it comes to capnomancy, reading the smoke and the soot, I would have to say that when soot forms around the candle, that's generally kind of a negative sign, okay? But I'm going to start off with the first one. When the soot forms at the top of the glass, but finishes clean, this means that the issue is improving. Now, I'm going to give you an example and kind of describe what that looks like. Okay, now I'm sure many of you guys may have burned candles before that have been enclosed in glass jars or whatever. And there's times where, you know, it gets very dark because of the smoke. Okay, this is what we're talking about. Okay, when dark smoke collects around a candle, especially when you have put your focus into it, that means something. That's why it's important to cleanse the candle, because this is giving you a reading. You're getting a reading off of the smoke and the soot that's forming around the candle. Now, ideally, when you burn a candle, you do not want any soot or smoke around the candle, okay? But when you do have it, this is a form of divination. It's letting you know, hey, something's not quite right, okay? So when you light a novena candle, okay, and it's, you know, in the glass jar, and, you know, it starts off burning, I would say like the first day or the second day in the burning, and, you know, the very first day that you lit it, you'll notice that it was very dark at the top. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. And then throughout the next few days, you'll notice the jar, it's only dark at the top where it originally burned, but like in the middle of the glass and in the very lower part of the glass, there is no soot, okay? That means that the issue that you are working on is improving, okay? Now, if the other scenario is if the top of the candle is clear, okay, but soot forms around the bottom part of the candle before it extinguishes, that means you are going to have to redo the spell at another time. Now, I will tell you that I do follow the moon phases, and there's times where, you know, you can't work on, you're doing like a banishing spell, okay? And then sometimes you have to redo a spell because maybe the forces that are working against you are very strong. So that means that you're going to have to double your efforts, okay? Not all spells work right away. It depends on how big the obstacle is. Like in this case, okay, we're in the third quarter moon, right? So we're in the waning phase. Okay, so let's just say, for example, you start burning the candle, and pretty soon you're getting very close to the dark of the moon where you're not going to be doing any spell work, okay? So in cases like that, you know, like if you get a negative reading or something along those lines, and you feel like, okay, well, I don't have 7 days or whatever, I would suggest, you know, regardless whether you have the 7 days or not, it's nice to just go ahead and take like a ritual bath. And that's very simple to do. I discussed it in one of my videos. It's basically just taking some sea salt water and maybe another herb. I like lemon and rosemary, and putting it into the bathtub, making sure that you're charging these items before you go into the bathtub. You know, maybe saying a prayer, cleansing yourself, making sure you're completely immersed under the water. Okay, do a spiritual bath and make sure that you recharge your amulets during that time. When the moon is waning again for the next month, you can go ahead and continue working the spell. We can talk about that at some other time. Okay, so now in the case in this novena candle, because you know the spell example that I gave was me using the white candle, and I put herbs on it. Okay, now when you put herbs on a candle, you can expect a little bit of smoke, and you could expect a little bit of soot. Okay, but after the wax starts formulating around the candle, it just becomes just like, you know, any other candle. Okay, I mean, like in this case, like the basil, or if you put like something that's dried, a lot of the dried herbs, they're going to sometimes catch fire. Okay, and that you can expect that. But I wouldn't worry about that, and it should not catch on to where you're having a lot of smoke. A lot of smoke is not good. Okay, so just so you know. And pay attention to the wax as it's burning and then after the candle is completely burned down. The candle should burn down all the way so that you should be able to see the little metal plate where the wick is actually placed in the candle, in the middle of the candle. You should be able to see that little metal plate where the wick was actually at one time. Okay. That's the best way of the candle to burn. Also, if you notice large amounts of wax left after you burn the candle, this may indicate that obstacles or blocks are in your way. Okay, use divination to find out what's going on. And finally, if the candle breaks, that indicates that dark forces are working against you. That means that, you know, you have enemies and psychic attacks, and they're very strong. Okay, these glass candles that are sold, the glass is meant to be able to withstand flames and, you know, the heat. But, you know, they can break. Okay, this is one of the reasons why, you know, I highly suggest putting it in a bathtub when you go to bed or if you're leaving the house, okay, because you never know what happens. But I just want to tell you a really quick story, and I try to make Monday Merriment very short because, you know, I know people want to have to go to work, or they might be watching this at work or whatever. I don't want to get them in trouble. But anyway, the thing is that, you know, when it comes to burning candles, I had an experience right after leaving Marine Family Farms. I had burned 3 candles because I would say things were getting really weird at Marine Family Farms. And right after I left Marine Family Farms, I was dealing with a lot of psychic attacks because the community was becoming infested with this literally. They were trying to hunt me down. I mean, they were bullying me to the point of where it was just unreal. Okay. So, you know, I had burned 3 candles for protection. They looked very much like this candle right here, but they were all red. All 3 red candles. I burned them, okay, in a row on my altar at the same time, okay? Now, it is a very rare thing for a candle to break because it's not meant to happen. But I'm going to tell you that 2 of the candles that I was burning broke. The glass shattered, okay? This is when I understood that I was under serious psychic attack. I had a lot of enemies that had a lot to do with what happened over at the farmer's place, okay? So when this sort of stuff happens, this is what this indicated. Now, I had no idea what all that was about, but I will tell you, I was dealing with a lot of enemies. People that I didn't even know were hating on me. I had like, you know, and then I found out the story, okay, which everybody knows I found out the story. But this is at the beginning of, I would say, when I started, you know, dealing with the nightmare drama after leaving the farmer's place. Those red candles that broke, I knew I was into something. Something bad was going to happen. All right, so just so you know, going back to the subject now, if you have a candle that breaks, and that's an indication that you are dealing with psychic attacks. Like I said, you know, the waning moon period is only so long, okay? But, you know, make sure that you wear your amulets during the waxing moon. Continue to wear your amulets. Continue to do your ritual baths, your cleansing baths. Those can be done at any time, whatever. Then when the proper time comes, you can go ahead and redo the spell. Also, you know, when it comes to divination, you know, it's a good thing to, you know, if you get a reading like where your candle is burst, you might want to take out that deck of cards, follow the instructions from that video, the divination before spell work, find out what's going on, what is blocking you, you know, and I highly suggest doing divination before you even perform a spell to see exactly what you're dealing with. Okay, so anyway, that was my little explanation of a quick and easy banishing spell. Okay, so if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment box. Okay, now I wanted to get back onto the subject. Now, I know last week I talked about, you know, lunchtime, you know, on Monday or any other day of the work week, you know, because a lot of times, in my case, when I was dealing with a lot of bullying, I looked forward to lunchtime so I could just be by myself, that one little break, that one special time where I could just be off to myself because I dealt with a lot of bullying, okay? So it was kind of like a reprieve for me, a little bit of space in heaven, right? But anyway, you know, I was thinking, you know, about, you know, going to work and how, you know, I usually take my lunch to work, okay? And I know that I was looking at my lunch box that I used to have, and I had stored it on top of the refrigerator. It was like collecting dust. And really, I've had the same lunch box since, I think, 2016, right? So I kept thinking I would probably go get another one. So, you know, I was thinking, you know, this is the month of September, right? And, you know, I used to love going to back to school specials. I love office supplies. I love school supplies. I love notebooks. I love pens. I like paper. I like paper clips. I love all that stuff. And I'm like, man, why should the little kids get to have all the fun, right? So I'm like, you know, I know at Walmart they have lunch boxes for the kids who get to go back to school. So, you know, when it comes to bringing my lunch, you know, I would say a lunch box is kind of cool. When I was a little kid, there was this story about I remember reading about this little bunny who wanted a new lunchbox, right? Because his was all beat up and whatever. And at the end, he gets a new lunchbox, and it was really cute and happy, and all the cute little characters, and it was just adorable and innocent and just, you know, so cute, right? And so I've always had this fascination with lunchboxes. Like throughout the years, I've always collected them. And I do remember having a teacher who, she was kind of different, you know. I remember her having a lunchbox with Alvin and the Chipmunks. And then she also had a matching thermos, right? And I admired her because, you know, a lot of people would probably think, okay, whatever. But she was somebody like myself who saw the value of, you know, hey, it's practical, I still have it, I might as well use it, whatever. And, you know, whatever. But anyway, I would say that my love of different changing lunch boxes has lasted a very long time. And still into the adult years, I still think that, you know, having a cute lunch box makes the workday so much better. So I stumbled upon these cute lunch boxes at Walmart, which are on sale right now for $14.99. Now you have to buy them online. You cannot get this price at the store. Okay. Now I did put the link in the description box for these lunch boxes. Now I would say that I was looking at the one on the far lower left-hand corner. I love daisies, so that's cute. And I also like the one on the upper right-hand corner where the tie-dye one, that's very cool. You know, go ahead and take a look at it. And while you're on the website, you know, maybe you might not like these lunch boxes, but you might find something else, okay? But it's just one little thing that you can do to try to make your life a little bit more exciting. I know some people might think, well, gosh, Marie, you know, you have to get excited over a lunchbox. You got to find something to care about in this world, okay? Even if it's something basic like that. So, like I said, you know, the little kids are going off to school. They're starting something new. Then start something new for yourself. It might not be a lunchbox. It could be something different. But, you know, every year, try to renew yourself in a special way. I did want to touch on the holding capacity of this particular lunchbox. It looks like you can fill it up with a lot of stuff. Now, I know I usually bring my snacks as well as my lunch in my lunchbox. And I need as much room as I possibly can get. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why this particular lunchbox does appeal to me. Like I said, it is $14.99 if you buy it online. The link is in the description box. Okay, last week's synchronistic symbol was the waxing crescent moon. And like I said, you know, you can stumble upon that symbol in any way, shape, or form. Okay, it might come to you in the way of seeing it on a billboard. You might see a picture on somebody's, you know, office wall of a crescent moon. You may see something like this online. It's something. The subject matter of a crescent moon might come up on a cartoon that your kid's watching. Your kid could walk into the house holding a statue of a crescent moon, or it could be printed on a t-shirt. Any way you could imagine, okay? So last week's symbol was the crescent moon, and it was the waxing moon. That means when the moon looks like a backward C. Or like I showed you on the calendar demonstration earlier, it is the first quarter moon, okay, when it's like the little crescent, okay? It's funny because I saw the crescent moon the same day I did that video. Now, when I announced the synchronistic symbols for the week, you have 7 days until the next week to see that symbol. You might see it the very first day, right? Or you might see it the day after, sometime within that week, because, you know, I'm going to draw another synchronistic symbol, right? But you have a week to see it. But I saw mine the very same day. So after I did the video last week announcing the crescent moon for the synchronicity symbol, I went outside a little bit later and to dump my trash. And as I was coming back in, I noticed that these patio lights were thrown over the fence. Apparently, I don't think the neighbor wanted them anymore. And I noticed that there was a crescent moon on there, a waxing crescent moon. Now, if you notice, underneath the waxing crescent moon is a waning crescent moon. So I actually saw both of them. But the one that counts is the waxing moon. And like I said, you know, you can see these and find these synchronistic symbols. You'll stumble upon them in different forms. In this case, it came to me in the form of patio lights that the neighbor got rid of. Yesterday, I took this picture because they still have them dangling over the fence. And I wanted to make sure that I showed you guys what I was talking about. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next slide and see what the synchronistic symbol is for this week. Okay, it's time to draw the synchronistic symbol for the week. Let's take a look and see what it is. Maybe next week I'll do the synchronistic symbol in front of the camera. That way, you know, it adds to the excitement of pulling exactly what it is. I reach into a little bag with strips of paper that indicate what the synchronistic symbol is going to be. So let's see what it's going to be. Okay. Tossing it up. All right, here we go. This week's synchronistic symbol is going to be a pink 5-petal flower. Okay, because this week is a waning period, this 5-petal flower is going to be used as confirmation of you getting closer to removing the obstacles that you no longer want in your life. Okay, so make a wish, and you know that if you run into this 5-petal pink flower, that you're getting closer to your goal. And of course, you know, this could be seen in different ways. Like I said, maybe a girl might be walking around and she might have a barrette in her hair, and it might be a 5-petal pink flower. It could come on the sign as a sign on a t-shirt. It could be on a bumper sticker. It can come in different forms. If you see multiple pink 5-petal flowers, that is just basically telling you, you know, the world is your oyster. Everything is like definitely on track. I love when I see a cluster of synchronistic symbols. Okay, so make your wish and be on the lookout for that pink 5-petal flower this week. I wanted to say that as a victim of human trafficking, which did involve a fake arranged marriage by abusive people that I used to know, I did get an intuitive confirmation a few days ago that my videos are being uploaded to another channel, which is obviously abusive and based on religious bullying, which is a part of the trauma. I know that there's been a lot of playing around with my numbers, and some of these people, you know, claim to be repentant for the actions that they took against me. I know that some of these people are not in a good state, and some of these people who were bullying me are not even alive. Okay, but I do know that a lot of people watch my videos. I do believe that in some indirect way that I have contributed to a lot of what's going on and what's being spoken about on a lot of these YouTube channels, a lot of these subject matters, okay, because I know that I've been put on a point of focus for a long time, and mainly because of the involvement of the celebrities. What I am trying to do is I'm trying to raise the viewership on my channel, which I believe is I should rightfully have that. I know that my perps were bullying me, creating issues, saying that I was in a marriage and that people had rights over me, specifically referring to my ex-husband. I need to make this very brief because this is Monday, Merriment, and people have things to do. So I can go into that more in another video. But what I'm trying to do is, you know, encourage people who are watching my videos on another channel, which I do know, or I know because of my intuitive feelings, as well as the fact that my videos, the numbers are indicating on YouTube that they're not being watched, but I do understand that they could not, and my influence cannot be that widespread if they're only being watched based off the numbers of what's being reported on YouTube. So I would say that the honest thing to do would be to subscribe to my channel, seeing as how I believe that this issue, the tug of war about let's exclude Maria, let's do this sort of stuff to Maria, should be long and done and over with. Okay? As I mentioned before, you know, it was a bad idea to put someone in isolation, and I do believe that continuing to prevent me from having viewership, and then also hoarding my saying that you're against my videos, but somehow, you know, raising the number of viewerships on your channel doesn't seem like that's fair to me. Okay, and I do believe that I've received a lot of abuse in this situation. And I don't expect to monetize my channel, but I do deserve to have a traffic flow into my channel, and I do deserve to have more viewers. So I'm going to encourage people to like my videos, to you know, subscribe to my channel, and continue to get, you know, watch, you know, Monday Merriment. Okay, and just really quick, you know, just by mere chance, if you are watching my video, which I'm sure you probably are, but you're probably watching it on another channel that might be uploading my videos when I upload my videos, okay? The only, well, and I'm not saying to unsubscribe to the channel that you're watching my videos from, but I do think it's important to understand that I do look at it as a form of abuse by their actions. And I do understand that my ex-boyfriend, or he was my ex-boyfriend, and my son's father also has something to do with my YouTube channel. I'm going to implore people to do not let my abusers or religious hypocrites get subscribers off of my work. It is harassment and it's extremely abusive. This was a part of the religious and racial targeting and by the inconsistent Christian cult. Now, I do understand that, I'm looking for work, and I do still continue want to make YouTube videos, and I deserve to have some sort of outlet. You understand that the people who have been taking my videos and using them, they're the ones who prevent me from having a social life. So I try to have a social life online, and they try to block that as well. Okay, this is a form of Christian bullying. It's a form of isolating me. Now, I have had this channel since 2015, and I have 632 subscribers. That's unreal. So this is a sign, an indication that I have, people who are using my videos to get viewers, okay? And, it could be a church or religious group alongside of Bruce's family and whatever, okay? But I will say that, by this going on where, certain things that I'm doing is obviously being talked about, being leaked. They talk about me on YouTube all the time, and yet they deliberately and purposely discredit me and never give me what I rightfully deserve. Okay, so all I'm asking for is, hey, if you're watching my videos from another channel, it's time to subscribe to my channel, okay? Because obviously, by continuing to be a part of that, you're a part of the problem. You're continuing to be a part of the problem. So anyway, this is what my channel looks like, okay? Just in case you are watching it, that's uploaded on another channel. This is what my channel looks like. It is the Maria Gord at Maria Gord 9674, and go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Okay, anyway, but before I go too deeply into it, I'm just basically asking to, increase my numbers, mainly because I know the reason why I have 632 subscribers. There's no justification for that. The people who were excluding me did it on purpose, and it's always to make me feel like I'm supposed to be like the other person. I'm supposed to be treated bad. I am aware of the bullying, and I do look at it as a form of bullying for people to get credit for my work or to post my videos on another channel, and then I don't get those subscribers. This was originally done to protest me, and it was originally done to bully me. It was originally a part of the program, meaning the harassment campaign, to upload my videos that I post to another channel, have them watch it, get the views, and I hear a lot of people on YouTube talking about the same topics that I talk about. Okay, so obviously it is very widespread. My views, my opinions, whatever it is that I do gets very well spoken of. It gets widely spread, but I get no credit for it. Okay, I feel as though I've been abused enough. I know that I had created the Swan Song Manifesto. It's bounced around a bunch of different platforms, and now I'm landing my Swan Song Manifesto work here. And part of my goal for the Swan Song Manifesto was to give Mojo prizes. Unfortunately, it's like, that has a lot to do with viewership, and of course, being encouraged to continue to do it. My goal is to raise 1,500 subscribers by October 1st so that I can start my Mojo prizes and giveaway. And I do hope that you will continue to watch my Monday Merriment, as well as check the description box after this video so that you can get the link to the Divine Timetables. You can also get the printed pamphlet on the magical food list, as well as the link to the lunch boxes that are by Walmart. I'm going to see you, sold at Walmart. I will see you next Monday. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful Monday. And I also hope that you have the rest of the week will make you happy and stay energized. I'll be back later. Take care. Bye-bye.